Good evening, everyone. Okay, we'll start with the session. You guys get time to work on the assignment which I shared you. We got the Selenium latest version 4.3 got released. Audible? अभी ना नेटवर्क इशू Hello, am I audible? Am I audible? First of all, everyone able to hear me? Hear me out. Not sure if there is some network issue. Fine. So let's start with the session. So we started with the manual testing. I just gave you an idea about basics of testing and write the test cases. Based on the test cases, you have to prepare the automation regression. For working with Java and Selenium, you can directly get into that also. For Java part, till this you need an hands-on. Till classes and object, we have done enough practice. Then post that, we started with Selenium. Parallelly, we tried to work on this encapsulation, inheritance, method overriding abstract concept we'll be discussing today. And once that is done, we'll start with pending Selenium topics. I'll quickly cover the abstraction concept. We have done difference between classes and object, what is static, what is not static. Okay, and then creating our own types, git configuration, that is totally different. And then we started working with constructor, this keyword, and method overloading construct, and then constructor overloading concept. Along with that, I explained you some collections, array list for working with multiple tabs. And inheritance, last class, we have seen how to work with inheritance, usage of inheritance. Okay, and something like you should know how to work with the method overriding concept. Method overriding concept, okay, which is basically called runtime polymorphism, and also called late binding polymorphism. And this is called early binding polymorphism, static polymorphism, late binding dynamic polymorphism. So we are actually using in Selenium, we are launching the browser. While launching the browser, we are writing a code something like this. WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Okay. So why are we storing it in WebDriver? What is the purpose of the WebDriver is what I am going to tell you. I think already I've told you the starting stage of interface I have explained you. So creating an interface will have only method declaration. So that I have told you. So before that, basically in order to work with interface, you should know about the abstract class. And before that, you should know basic method overriding. So first I'll quickly give you an idea about method overriding. See, method overriding is a concept. Let me create a code, add one more class with the same name. Okay. Let me keep this class as a doc, and let me remove all these code. Let me create one more class, dentist, and extends doctor. And different doctors will be there. Okay. For example, dentist is one doctor, like veterinarian, different specialist will be there. For example, let's take this scenario. I wanted to create some methods for doctor, like common. That's what we have done in the previous section. For school management, let's take a school management example itself. In the school management, you see, we wanted to generate a template for student as well as professor. And student and professor, I gave you the assignment, pending task, I gave you the assignment. So student and professor will have some set of records. Similarly, students need this record. Okay, this record, adding phone number, address, school address, those and all. What we did is we create a common class. Inside that class, we kept those methods. And then student specific detail we keep in the student class. Professor specific detail we kept in the professor class. And these classes, student professor class in the person.
Balaji, you are
Online
not
hierarchical
audible.
inheritance by creating
Balaji, you are not audible.
yeah facing some network issue. Check now. Facing some network issue. Let me know if you are not able to hear me. So right now you non-static variable, all these instance variable. You can see we started reusing the variables and method each and Yeah, I hope. Check now. We're able to hear me now. Yeah, some network issue, I guess. Fine. So listen here. What we did is basically we created a class, a person class and student class. So whoever comes into the school management portal, for example, security, or they want to distinguish a primary school professors as well as secondary school professors, they will be able to clear different instead of dumping everything into one class. Earlier I told you about one principles. We should not dump everything under one class. A class should have only one reason to change. If there's any changes with student, we have to disturb this class, and any changes with professor detail, we have to disturb this class. Apart from that, we should not disturb this class. The class functionality should have the extensibility. So inheritance provide that. By just creating an object for child, we can reuse the variable present in the parent. Suppose I want some common record to be added for all the person related to the school, then I can easily add it in the parent class. That's the advantage of inheritance. Okay, that is what we have done it in the last class. And you see, I created an object and able to load a complete student record, one student record, including name and then mobile number. All these things we were able to add. And then we have to create encapsulation. Encapsulation, already I told you, it's a concept of binding a data, basically hiding the data and giving the access through the methods. Okay, that's a concept of encapsulation. That is to protect the data and avoid unwanted disturbance to the systems. Okay, so to validate those things and all, we will be using encapsulation concepts. Okay, let me. In student class, we have done it encapsulation, I guess. And then same thing, we have to implement it. You can see class we've done encapsulation. Yeah. So we have to make everything as a private, and then through the methods, we have to give access, get and set method. Okay. That concept is called encapsulation. Any of encapsulation is not directly used what we are discussing in this level when it comes to Selenium. Okay. At the framework level, we might use encapsulation by using access modifier. By using the access modifier, we'll protect the variable. Okay. And we use only within the class. For that only we use encapsulation. If you want to protect the variable with a particular range or anything, you can easily implement the getter setter method. For development environment, for sure they will be using encapsulation only. They don't give access to the instance variable directly. Only through the methods they will give access. Any of inheritance we will be using in our framework while designing a framework. And then we will be working on abstraction. Abstraction is something which you should know. For example, let's move on step by step. Already I told you about interface before we start with the Selenium WebDriver. I just gave you an idea about interface. What interface will have? Interface will have only method declaration. Today you will get some idea about that. So inheritance, as I told you, you can understand it in a simple way. I created one simple class called father and then son, and then while creating an object for sun, we were able to reuse it. That's a raw data I used to explain it. Then I shown you some real-time examples where you can implement the inheritance concepts. And then remaining concepts like method overriding, abstract class, interface, all these are inheritance concept only. So what I'm going to do is I've created a class called doctor, and I've created a class called dentist and veterinarian. So right now, this in the doctor class, I'll give common record. For example, doctor name, If you see doctor name and all, every doctor will have a name, right? Specific name. I'm going to give some name. Okay, now something like let me keep int doctor ID. I keep some ID. Now I want to know the treatment. What treatment they are going to provide. For example, if you see public void, I'm going to give a method called treatment. Just listen carefully. Treatment. Okay. General doctors will take. Okay. It's assume that treats patient for viral fever or a cold or something like that. Okay. General doctor. Okay. So right now this is done. Now if you see here, this is not going to be common for all the doctor. Whereas name, doctor ID, and we will be using private, right? So we will be using private, and through the getter set that only will be giving access, or will give protected so that child class can access it. Those things and all you can do. As of now, I'll keep it as public. Let's take this method, treatment. Earlier, we created lots of methods. In the parent class, I created a method, and in child class, I created a method. Those are all different methods. Now, what we are trying to do is we are going to create a method which is going to be same. We are going to override the method. For example, treatment, if you take, the general doctor will treat for fever, cold,